My name is Pung, and it's a great pleasure to be here today. What the Asian century means for me as a writer and a teacher at a lot of secondary schools where my books are taught is, I think, in this century we need more engagement with culture in terms of culture that's created by human beings. I grew up in the 1980s, about 6 years after the abolishment of the White Australia policy. So it was an era where arts thrived, and also our culture was very, very important to shaping our identity at schools. So I think this century is about looking outside of Australia to our Asian neighbours, but above all not the most superficial elements of culture, not the lowest hanging fruit, the ethnicity, the costumes, the food, but to understand our neighbours as human beings on a cultural level and artistically, to understand how Asian arts has evolved. You know, it's not all about batik and shadow puppets and things like that. So, yeah.
Ted Snell, I'm the chair of the Visual Arts Board of the Australia Council, and of course for all of us in the arts, China is, and Asia in particular, but China is such an important focus, but also an important sort of area of response. I mean, I've come from Perth, Western Australia, so we're in the same time zone as Beijing. So actually being in that space is a very important and ever-present experience for us. And understanding where we are in the world as a country which is both located physically in that time zone and with reference back to the West is, I think, a very important sort of gateway. And I think for at least the next 40, 50 years, we're going to be very engaged in thinking about how culture develops, how our culture responds and respects the cultures around us, and equally how we can interact and make sure that our cultural knowledge is a part of a world knowledge.
I'm Lesley Alway. I'm Cultural Policy Consultant and on the board of Opera Australia and the Australian Centre for Contemporary Art. What does the Asian century mean for the arts? Well, really in the arts, the Asia is here and now, and it's very much the future. For many years in Australia, we've been conducting many cultural exchanges, both for not-for-profit and commercial reasons, and we've been exploring through cultural programs and festivals and events, the relationships between Asia and Australia, and that's only accelerating pace. It's a very, very rich frontier and rich area for the arts that intersects with business, with social life and all aspects of the economy.